Hey, my loves, it's your girl, Miss Medi X Suxer here. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. I said, come on in the room. Jesus is my doctor, and he write down my scriptures, and he gives me all of my medicine in my room. Whoa, come on in the room. I said, come on in the room. Jesus is my doctor, and he writes down all of my scriptures. What? And he gives me all of my medicine in my room. Whoa, come on in the room. I said, come on in the room. Jesus is my doctor, and he writes down all of my script, and he gives me all of my medicine in my room. One more time while I get this topic up. Come on in the room. I said, come on in the room. Jesus is my doctor, and he writes down all of my scriptures, and he gives me all of my medicine in my room. Oh, come on in the room. I said, come on in the room. Jesus is my doctor, and he writes down all of my scriptures, and he gives me all of my medicine in my room. Hey, my loves. Hope you guys I hope my loves are having a wonderful day. I hope you're feeling fabulous. I hope you're feeling beautiful. I hope that no matter what you're going through, that you're feeling like you matter. You're feeling like you're important. You're feeling like you are valid. And the reason why you should feel like you matter and you should feel like you're special and you feel like you matter is because of the fact you do matter. So don't let what anybody's told you today or yesterday or last week or last weekend, don't let that affect you, okay? You are beautiful. You are wonderful. You matter. And most importantly, I love you with all my heart. Thank you for coming into this live and enjoying the show. And we're going to have a wonderful show. And I love each and every one of y'all with all of my heart, okay? I love you absolutely so, so much, okay? I love you so, so much, okay? All right? Okay. I hope you feel the same. I feel the same way, baby. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. Thank you. Okay. All right. So today's show, I had another topic planned. I'll probably do that topic tomorrow. The reason why I picked this topic was because of the fact that when I did the post this morning, I noticed that post got a whole bunch of likes and a whole bunch of comments. Okay. So I said to myself, this will be a great topic for the show. So today's topic, transgender versus femboy versus drag queen. Okay? And hold on one second. Okay, I just checking to make sure I hear something. Okay, so transgender versus femboy versus drag queen, okay? All right, and the reason why this topic really hit my eye is because I noticed that especially in the black community, if someone sees someone who's feminine or that was born a male, the first thing they want to say is, oh, they're trans, oh, they're drag queen, oh, they're gay, oh, they're femboy, oh, they're this and that. And people don't understand that how somebody identifies is respect. That's about respect. I tell them about it all the time. Pronouns are about respect. I tell all the time, I hear people say all the time, they say, well, why is it so important for me to call a trans woman? Like I hear a guy say, why is it so important for me to call a trans woman a woman? She was born a man. Okay, as a trans woman, if I call you a bitch, I don't use that language, so I'm gonna spell out bitch. You're as a man, you're gonna feel offended. So you should understand that if you call a trans woman a man, she's gonna feel offended. Just like my lady. Sometimes my lady say, "Oh, I'm not trying to no be mean, but that's how you were born. Ladies, would you be offended if someone called you a bitch? Would you be offended, men, if someone called you the F word? Yes, you would, because that's how they're identifying you. So pronouns matter to trans people by calling trans women he she, by calling trans men he him, and by calling non-binary and gender non-conforming people who identify as they them. It is about respect. So when it comes to transgender, femboy, and drag queen, let's break this down, because somebody may not know the difference, and I'm hoping that somebody in the live will come in and they'll realize that there are so many differences, and it's very important to allow somebody to be able to identify as they are, because that's how they identify. That's their life, and they're living their life and walking their truth. Okay, a femboy. Let's go to femboy first. Femboys typically are gay men. Either some are bisexual, but mostly they may wear makeup, they may wear wigs and things of that nature. They may dress as a boy one day, dress as a girl one day. They're very they fall under that gender fluid situation, and they may dress. May wear a dress, and they may still have a mustache and just have short hair. May not wear makeup. They may just wear a dress. And as a femboy, typically most femboys still identify as a male. They may identify as gay and bisexual, but they'll tell you real quick, I'm still a man. I'm still a guy. Okay? With transgender people, especially transgender women, or transgender women, identify as female. Yes, they're born male, but they identify as female, which means they don't take their identity off. They don't go to bed and say, "Ooh, okay, right now be a boy." No, they are women, and that's how they live their life as women. Period. They can't take a dress off and say, "Oh, I'm a guy or I'm a man." No, trans women are women. Period. Okay. Drag queen. Drag queens typically are most of them are gay guys, and typically they only dress up generally for like performances, or maybe some. Now there have been some drag queen. I know a drag friend. He was a drag queen, but he only was a drag queen for the guys he dated. And typically drag queens, most time they dress up for performance wise. If you notice with RuPaul dresses fabulous on Drag Race, makeup, hair, skirt, all that is just beats to the guys. But when Ru is doing an interview or something, Ru's in a suit. Ru's bald headed. Ru don't even wear makeup, because Ru takes it off, because that is a persona. That is a that is Ru performing. But with transgender women and transgender men, they don't take their identity off. They live that identity. They live that identity 24/7. Okay, so we have to make sure that when we're saying this femboy, this trend, that's why I say all the time, if you have a problem with not knowing how to identify somebody, ask. All you gotta do is say, "Excuse me, what are your pronouns?" "Oh, your pronouns are he, him." "Okay, thank you. That's what I'll make sure I call you." "What are your pronouns?" "Oh, your pronouns are she, her." "Okay, that's what I call you." "What are your pronouns?" "They, them." "Oh, that's what I call you." So it's about respecting someone's pronouns and respecting their identity. And that is one of the reasons why I did that post with transgender, femboy, and drag queen, because we need to make sure we know the difference. And granted, there are some people who are homophobic and transphobic, and they don't even want to know the difference. They don't even try to educate themselves, and that is so sad, because if someone disrespected you, you would be mad, angry, and pissed. So why are you mad? Why are you saying that somebody else doesn't deserve respect just because it's something you don't believe in or you don't agree with? And also to piggyback on that, a lot of times the people that don't be wanting to do pronouns, they be the main ones who done dibble dabble in the LGBTQ plus community. Period. They be the main ones. Okay. Now let's go through some of these comments. I love Drag Race, hate RuPaul, his transphobia disgusting. This is what I say. There have been moments on the thing that I didn't agree with transgender, and I agree with that with RuPaul. But I will say this: when I was growing up, not having a lot of transgender role models growing up, RuPaul was like the only sis I had. So he definitely played a role in my life. There are things I I definitely don't agree with, and I see what you're talking about. But and we'll deal with those. We'll deal with those in another show. I promise you, we'll deal with those. Drag is a performance art, nothing to do with gender. I agree. Yeah, that is a important point. The reason why I say that's an important point because a lot of times people think about drag queens, but we don't think about drag kings. Because there are a lot of drag kings, just like when black trans women are getting a lot of the we talk about black trans women, we don't really talk much about black trans men. So when it comes to drag queens and the drag scene, we don't really talk about drag kings a lot. We don't. I didn't even know RuPaul is transphobic. Ru identifies as male, definitely. I try explaining this to my boyfriend like every day. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. That is. Thank you for trying to educate. Thank you for trying to do what needs to be done. Okay. I'll try and find the clips and send them to you. It shocked me. I'm more like I've seen clips and I honestly say I didn't agree with them. Here's the thing about it. You can love somebody, you can agree with somebody, but you can still hold them accountable. And that's one thing about it. No matter how much I love somebody or disagree with them or not, I will hold you accountable, even if you're in the community. Because the thing about it is, if I'm wrong, I want somebody to hold me accountable. Okay? All right? Thank you. He's gay and still doesn't quite understand trans versus drag versus femme. Okay? All right? So we have to make sure that we are doing exactly everything that needs to be done. Okay? All right. A lot of times... somebody else also asked me about the situation about cross-dressers because I know somebody brought up cross-dressers in the comments. And typically cross-dressers, to me, there's some differences between femboys and cross-dressers. I'm going to tell you why. They're definitely like this. They're signs of the same thing, but there are definitely some differences because I'm going to tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Good point, Claire. Period. We can't idolize anybody. Everybody is able to learn and grow and be held accountable. Exactly. Good point. Good point, Claire. Good point. I love that. I love all that you said. Femboy crotches. Typically, a lot of femboys who dress like that, they're willing to go out in public, and wear dress and things of that nature. A lot of people who are cross-dressed, there are a lot of people who are cross-dressers who, if you see them in public, you would never know they're cross-dressers. They typically only cross-dress from like maybe if they're with their friend or in the bedroom, because it's plenty of guys who probably you walk down the street and be corporate America and probably got on suits and ties. You be like, oh, he's so distinguished, he's a master guy, and might have a bra and panties, some Victoria's Secret on underneath their suit. I'm just being real, and that's not exaggeration. That is real talk right there. That is real talk. So we have to make sure that let's make sure that we're respecting everybody's pronouns. Let's make sure that if we don't know, we ask. I tell anybody, there's situations where on the LGBTQ side, I want to say, and there's things on the cis hetero side, I want to say. So the cis people and the heterosexual people, I want to say this. Don't be afraid to ask. A lot of times, people misgender people because of the fact they're too afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask. You're not afraid to people. People are not afraid to be homophobic. They're not afraid to be transphobic. But then the first thing somebody will say, "Oh, I didn't know," but you didn't ask. What is so wrong with asking? And to my LGBT plus people, my trans people, and my gender non-conforming people, my gay people, don't let cisgender people ask. Allow them to ask. Okay. Now, granted, don't let them be disrespectful in the way they ask. Now, that's called accountable, but allow them to ask. Because when you don't allow somebody to ask, it's hard to hold somebody accountable if they're really trying to learn. That's the problem. A lot of times we have to hold people accountable because they don't want to learn, or they get caught and they lose their ass or their sponsorship because of the fact somebody found out they're transphobic or homophobic. But here's the thing about it. If someone is willing to ask and learn, be willing to talk to them, be willing to educate them. And then you have to go back on the cisgender side and say this. When the LGBT plus person educates you, be willing to listen. A lot of times we don't listen. Right now I have a friend who's a trans woman, and she's very adamant about protecting Black lives matter. She's very adamant about protecting Black trans women. But one of the problems she has is the fact that every time I would try to tell her something about Black trans lives, it's like, oh, this and that, oh, Black and white. And I can't get through to her. I can't get through to her that all trans people have problems and have situations, but the statistics and the data are showing that the black trans women are having more hard data. That's not to knock anybody's struggle, because all trans women are having struggle. But the struggle of black trans women and Latino trans women, it doesn't come. I'm sorry, my Caucasian transgender women, y'all struggle. It doesn't compare. It doesn't compare. I'm sorry, it doesn't compare. And that's not to downplay anybody, because we're all going through. But in order for us to be better as a community, we have to be able to acknowledge certain things and bring them to the light. And because if we don't acknowledge that a particular minority or a particular group is doing worse, then are you really advocating? Okay? Cross-dressers are sexual stimulation for the clothing idea, but cross-dressers still identify as men, but most trans folks start there and move on. I'm going to tell you something, Official House. I'm going to tell you something you didn't know, and this might be something you didn't know. There are some cross-dressers that identify as non-binary, and there's some cross-dressers who do identify as women when they're in private and identify as men. Yeah, because they're homophobic, because sometimes they have homophobic situations. I've seen that before. So that's majority true. But I've seen the other spectrum from that too, personal experience. I think we should normalize asking everybody their pronouns. Yes, Claire. Yes, we should. If cisgender people are used to ask their pronouns or use that pronoun, they will be more likely to ask other than the proper way. Yes, exactly. We need to start walking up to people and say, "Are you straight?" But you know the thing about that. If I were to walk up to a guy and say, "Hey, are you straight?" Excuse me, I hate to say this, but I don't want to offend you. Are you straight? They're gonna get offended. If you ask a woman, she might get offended. And so that's the thing about it is that they should take that the way they feel offended, and they should understand that's how LGBT plus people feel offended when you don't respect the pronouns. You know? Yes, most cis have many permissive conceptions. Yes, that's right. So we have to learn to be able to be respectful to everybody. Respect everybody's pronouns. Know that the way everybody lives their life is very important to them, and it's just so wonderful. The way they are, who they are, and everything they are. And just being just loving who they are. Okay, all right. Ooh, we having a good discussion here, my loves. I love today's discussion. We just having a good discussion. Okay. Any more questions or comments? Any questions? Any comments? I love this discussion today. It was so needed, okay? Emmy, I saw somebody say that women have to deal with sexism, but people of color women come first because they have it worse. Yes. Black women at the bottom of the barrel, period. When it comes to like at the bottom of the barrel, black women, when it comes to pay, when it comes to government, when it comes to jobs, resources, and getting paid, even in Hollywood and getting paid, black women are at the low totem pole. It's white men, white women, black men, black women top the bottom totem pole for everything. And then when it comes to LGBT plus community, black trans women are at the bottom of everything. Yeah. Sadly, the people of color, trans women suffer violence at the hands of their own POC, people of color community. My feeling is that that is the most outreach is there. Yeah, but most black trans women do receive violence from the community because of the homophobia that the black community, the homophobia, transphobia in the black community is just so it's on another level. It's on another level. I agree. I know that women of color will always experience more microaggressions and even violence than I ever will. Thank you for not, Claire. You right there are doing what an advocate should do because you are acknowledging it, and if more advocates would get that mindset that you have, the world would be such a much better place. Agreed. Because people of color women have to deal with racism and then Exactly. Black women have to deal with being black and female. Black trans women got to deal with being trans and black. Period. You have to deal with all that within them numbers, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we're in 2021 and black women are being still treated the way they are, and the fact that black trans women are still being treated the way they are. It's ridiculous. It's just it needs to stop. Period. It really needs to stop. Any more comments? Okay. Definitely all of this. I need all of this in my life. Okay. Agreed. Because women of color have to deal with. Okay. Did I do this? Okay. That was the last comment. Okay. But yeah, we have to make sure that we're respecting everybody's pronoun. If someone is a femboy, call them femboy. If someone is trans, call them trans. If someone is non-binary, call them non-binary. However somebody wants to identify as, let them identify as they would like to identify as. Okay. Let them identify as that. It's about respect. We need to learn to respect people and respect who they are. Respect who they are. Just respect who they are, okay? Just respect, okay? So, Miss, how do we people of color trans advocate for you? There are a lot of ways you can advocate for me. Most of the main ways is telling people about, oh, have you seen this new advocate, Miss Melody XOXO? She's really speaking for the community. Sharing my videos, liking my videos, because knowing that I'm using this platform to spread advocacy for the LGBT plus community, and especially Black trans lives and Black trans women, those are ways you can advocate for me. If you know anybody who will be willing to be a sponsor for the show, let me know. Have them DM me and DM me, and they will DM me. They can DM me, and I get my email, and we can go from there. Doing just however you can advocate. Making sure that you share that Black trans lives matter. And also, I want to say this to anybody who's ever given anything, whether it's 50 cents or $1, to my Cash App, my PayPal, or my Venmo. Thank you, because we are working towards a different setting and things, and it's coming. We just, I'm just a Black trans woman out here trying to do all this on my own with not that many resources, but I promise you I'm going to work hard and I'm going to get it done. And I thank you so much for anybody who has advocated for me, okay? Do you have any suggestions or ways to educate someone who is transphobic? Okay, first of all, I always say this. In order to educate somebody who is homophobic or transphobic, they have to be able to fully hear and listen to you. Because you can tell when you go into a conversation whether somebody's going to fully listen to you or whether they're going to fall back on what they think and what they believe. And a lot of times when if someone is a hardcore homophobic or transphobic, generally the only thing that majority of the time I say this, and this is just me, this is just the way I feel, that really breaks a homophobic or transphobic person is Jesus got to create a miracle. Just being honest. Or if someone in their family who they're real close to is trans or gay, or maybe like a child or something comes out as bi, and it's someone who they really love. Because a lot of times people say, well, I won't deal with this, but love will change a person. It may not change a person immediately. It may not change a person. It may take time, but it can change a person. Now, there are some people who honestly, they just gonna be homophobic or transphobic. And you know those ones who you gotta give it over to God with. Just being honest, okay? I find that most trans folks have a strong idea that we are just men in a way. That's what they think. And I'm telling you another thing about a lot of homophobic, transphobic people. And I had this conversation with somebody earlier. A lot of homophobic, transphobic people are like that also because, one, homophobia and transphobia is not, you're not born with that. You're taught that. It's a taught behavior. You're taught just like you're taught racism. And two, a lot of homophobic and transphobic people, if you could be a fly on the wall in their bedroom or when they behind closed doors, majority of them have dibble-dabble in the alphabet community. They dibble-dabble in the LGBT plus community. They somehow. And a lot of them are like that sometimes because they've had suppressed those feelings. And a lot of times we suppress feelings, you get angry, you get mad. And a lot of times, a lot of homophobic and transphobic people get mad at gay and queer and bisexual, non-binary people, transgender people, because of the fact that they see us living our lives and they want to do it, but they're too afraid to walk within their truth. How could I help my non-binary friend with non-black friends with transphobic comments from friends? Stand up. Just stand up. If you're with your friends or family and you know they're in a bad situation and somebody is talking bad about them and you feel like it may end somewhere violent, leave. Take your friend and leave. Sometimes if you know it, just take that. If you know that it's going to be, also if you know it's a situation that may not be the best situation for your friend, you might not want to bring your friend in that situation. Do things to where you can take your friend certain places to where you know that you have their back, or there won't be any homophobia or there won't be any transphobia. Get them out. Exactly. Get them out. Have them find a community. Came in late. Yes. With a Samara. We're talking about basically the difference between transgender, femboy, and drag queen, because a lot of times people tend to group them in the same thing, and they don't know the difference. Sometimes, especially people who are not educated in LGBT plus terminology. Yeah. But we're both minors. And when you're minors, that is something I have to understand, that you have to understand you have to sit on the roof. So those are the things to where you have to understand that you're still on the roof. And those and it's sad to be like this, but some things you have to deal with till you're grown. And I know that sounds wrong, but the way it is, because I don't want to see my babies on the streets. But if you're living under your parents' house, that is. It's that simple, but it's their roof. Now, when you get 18, then it's your decision whether you want to take that anymore, because then you'll be an adult. Okay. Suppressed feelings. Okay. If they have a homophobic dad, they're gonna have to deal with it, and they're gonna just pray about it, and they need to make sure. This is the thing after that. When you know your friend has a transphobic dad, be there for your friend. One thing about you saying, well, I'm only in my mind, I can't do that. Yes, you can do something. You can be there for your friend with support. You can be there for your friend when you talk to your friend, because your parents, they're not going to be around you 24/7. So when they're not, lift your friend up, make them laugh, go places, say, hey, let's have some little fun. Lift up their spirits. That's one way you can be there for them, okay? Suppressed feelings equal to violence that comes from the church community. Yes. The church, especially the black, all churches are, that's a whole nother topic, baby. That's a whole nother topic. But yes, there are a lot of churches who contribute by trying to use the Bible in ways to bash the LGBT plus community, and especially when it comes to black churches and the black community, okay? And then some of them homophobes and just trans folks are trolls too. They like to just try and offend people for crap. Yeah. When I first started my show, I had a whole bunch of trade just come on my live. Just trade, just to mess with my show. I'm like, why are you coming on my live? You must see something you like. You must want to be in the community and just too scared to do it, because that's why you had your light off and you was in the dark. Okay? True. Find the Trevor Project, Princess Janet House, and online community. Yes, all of those are great resources. I've checked in all those. Yes, especially Trevor Project. Yes, thank you for that. Especially Trevor Project. I definitely co-sign the Trevor Project. But we have to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make people feel comfortable when I do my best to try to, especially if I have any friends or nieces and nephews, that's why I always try to make my loves feel comfortable when you come on a platform, because I know a lot of you are dealing with homophobic or transphobic situations with your parents and in your daily life, and a lot of you have to deal with that until you're 18 or you can leave. And so I look at it as in a job of mine to bring some joy into your life and let you know that you're okay. You're perfect the way you are. You're wonderful the way you are. You're phenomenal the way you are. And I love you. So don't let the negativity that you have at home affect who you are, because you are beautiful, wonderful, and marvelously made, my loves. Okay? Yes. Love you, my baby. I love you so much. Yes. Do what you're going to do. Do exactly what you're going to do, my baby. Yes. Love y'all to death. Keep doing what y'all doing. Ooh. Love y'all. Okay. All right. I want to open the door floor up. Do we have any virtual audience member that would love to come on and talk? Because I always like to open my floor up for anybody virtual that would love to come on and talk. Okay. Online community saved my life growing up. I live in Wyoming, where my sexuality was dangerous to express. Finding a solid internet community that supported me was the thing that saved me. Thank you, my love. That paragraph right there is why I do what I do every Monday, Friday. Thank you for that, because that blessed my soul. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Whenever I encounter aggression or ignorance, I return unfailing love and compassion. Bam. Bam. That's what you do. It's all of that for me, love. It's all of that for me. Educate until they walk away. That's what you gotta do something. Just educate till they walk away. Education. Keep going on with it, okay? All right? Yes, my love. Yes, keep doing it. Yes, we are doing wonderful. Yes. Oh, my loves, I've enjoyed this show so much today. We have really had an awesome show. Have we not had a wonderful show today? We've actually had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show today, okay? Any more comments, any more questions? Come on in. Auntie on this little natural hair journey because I'm on another natural hair journey that I'm loving right now. I'm just really loving myself right now. I really am. So that's why y'all been seeing the different pics. I'm really loving it, okay? All right. Well, my loves, I thank you so much for a wonderful show. I thank you for supporting me. Make sure you're liking my videos. Make sure you're sharing my videos. Make sure you're telling people about Miss Melody XOXO show, where we're advocating for LGBT plus people and black women and just uplifting. And make sure if you know anybody who wants to be a sponsor, make sure they DM me and I will give them my email. And thank you for everybody who donates to the Cash App, the PayPal, and Venmo, because you help to keep this show going. You help to keep me motivated on, okay? I love you, my love. So much. Thank you so much for this. This is the first live I've joined, and I've really been working on becoming a better advocate. Thank you so much, Emmy. Giving me life, my thanks. Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. All right, I'm gonna get ready to go because I need to I'm gonna make sure I get this up, and then I need to go on TikTok, go to my other platform and do my other show. I love you so much, my loves. Have a wonderful and beautiful day. Okay, bye.